Hi guys, I'm Leanne and this is Farm and Charm, and today I'm going to do the perfect palette tag, and I'm really excited to do this. I have been on YouTube about a year and I've not done a tag yet, but this particular tag spoke to me, and so I decided, like, I love eyeshadow palettes. I'm kind of an eyeshadow palette fanatic. I get really excited every time a new eyeshadow palette comes out. I love finding great eyeshadow palettes to be excited about. So when I saw this one, I was excited to see what everyone else thought, and I'm really excited to share with you guys my favorite eyeshadow palettes. So before I start, I want to show you guys kind of my eyeshadow palette collection, so you can see the level of the insanity. And so I'm going to show y'all my eyeshadow palettes, and these are not including the ones I'm going to talk about in the video today. So here I'm going to show you guys this first drawer are my more used eyeshadow palettes, and all of the ones that are going to be in the video today would normally be in this drawer. These are the ones that I open and I reach for the most often. Here is another drawer of like bigger eyeshadow palettes. Here is a third drawer of smaller but least used eyeshadow palettes. And then here's a few eyeshadow palettes that are too big to fit in my normal drawers. So you guys can see that I really enjoy eyeshadow palettes. And so I'm excited to share all of these that I'm going to talk about today with you guys. So the perfect palette tag, basically there are 8 questions, and they're just all about your favorite from each category. So the first question is, which eyeshadow palette do you think has the best packaging? And so I have this one from Urban Decay, and it is the Oz the Great and Powerful. It is the Theodora palette, and I love this one first of all for all the details. And like you see up here, the feathers, like the flying monkeys, like the Wicked Witch of the West, the green for the Wicked Witch of the West, all the pretty colors here. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous palette. The reason I love it so much is because I'm a big fan of the play Wicked, and so this one is actually after the movie The Oz the Great and Powerful and not the play Wicked, but still it makes me think of it and I love it. Also the packaging on these Urban Decay palettes, they have a huge mirror so you can use. It's great when you're traveling, and it's got the removable eyeshadows, and so if you want to take one of these out and replace them with another Urban Decay eyeshadow, you can do that and have like all of your favorites in one place. So I love the packaging on these. I think Urban Decay in general with their packaging, they always, every time they bring it. I think their palettes are always gorgeous. I just love Urban Decay's packaging, period. So if I had to say the best packaging for a brand, I would say Urban Decay, but for a palette is definitely that Oz the Great and Powerful palette. The next is, which palette has the best color payoff? And I really had to think about this one, but I decided to go with the Lorac Pro palette. I think it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful palette. I use it a lot. I love that it's the half mattes and half shimmers, but every single color in this palette is great color payoff. Just a little bit goes a long way, so it'll last you forever. But like, and even the mattes are like buttery and smooth. It's just got really great color payoff, period. Every single shadow. Sometimes you get eyeshadow palettes and you'll love the palette except for this one color, which kind of sucks. I mean, that happens, but not with this one. Every single color is amazing. So I love this palette. The third question is, which palette is the most versatile? And so for that, I went with the Too Faced Pretty Rebel palette. And I did a lot of thinking about this one also. I mean, I considered the Lorac Pro for the most versatile because it's got all the mattes and all the shimmers, but I kept thinking it doesn't have any like bright colors. It's got a lot of great basic colors, but I went with the Pretty Rebel because you have like some great basics here. If you want to like do a little more interesting, you've got like the gold and the dual chrome color here, and then you've got some pretty loud colors. If you want to wear something kind of over the top and a little more interesting than normal, you've got your bright pink and your blue, you've got some silver, you've got that great sparkly black, so you can go like real like neutral for the day, and then at night you can crank it up a little, make it more smoky with your black or your brown. You've got cool toned, you've got warm toned. I think this is the most versatile palette, and this is an absolutely great palette. If you don't have it and you're interested in it, I have loved this palette. So that one's great. The next question is, which palette is the best for traveling? So I do a lot of traveling. My mom lives about 8 hours away, and all of my family lives where she does, and so I go back and forth quite a bit. So honestly, every time I travel, I use a different eyeshadow palette. I don't have one that I use every single time. But for the best for traveling, I decided to go with this one from Tarte. I bought this last summer. I think the packaging on this one is beautiful too. I think it's a really adorable palette. But I think it's the best for traveling because it's got a good size mirror that you can use. And then it's got on the inside, I use the Tarte Amazonian Clay Park Avenue Princess Bronzer every single day. So it's got my bronzer that I love. It's got a great highlighter. It's got a blush, and it's got some great neutral eyeshadows, and then it's got a purple, like if you want to punch it up a little bit, but you don't have to carry a bunch of palettes with you. You've got one, it's pretty small, it fits well in my bag, and nothing's worse than getting on a trip and realizing like, I didn't bring any blush, or I didn't bring my bronzer. And so if you take this palette, you're going to have all of the basics that you need, and this is called the Tarte Coral Crush palette, and I love this one for traveling. So the next question is your biggest regret, and this one makes me kind of sad. I looked through all of my eyeshadow palettes, and I had two particular ones that are regrets for me. I usually don't wind up with regrets in eyeshadow palettes because, you know, if there's one part of it you don't like, there'll be a color that you love that makes up for it, but these two I just haven't loved them. So the first one is from Dior, and it's a regret because anything Dior is a splurge. It's expensive, and I don't mind buying expensive products, but I expect to get something that I love if I'm gonna pay for that. So this one is called Rosy Tan, and the eyeshadows in it are beautiful, and I bought it because I thought it had some great neutrals, and I love pink eyeshadows, and it has like a really pretty pink eyeshadow right there, but it's just not. I've tried to make myself like this one, and the color payoff isn't great from it. It comes off kind of chalky, like if you swatch it, it looks like it swatches good, but then when you like apply it, it's just chalky. It doesn't show up very well, especially the pink that I was excited about. It's just over the top chalky. You can barely see it. I'm disappointed in this one, and I've had it for quite a while, but I will probably eventually break down and take it back because it's just too expensive to keep around if I'm not going to use it. I bought it from Sephora, so Sephora is great about taking things back. So I'm just disappointed in that. And the other one is one that I bought last year at Christmas. It was an impulse buy. I was walking through the mall with my mom, and I saw this, and I purchased it. It was a purchase with purchase, and it was a limited edition compact from them. The case is great. I think it's really pretty. I thought the inside of the palette was really cute, but unfortunately the eyeshadows in it are complete crap. They're just not good. They're not good, and there's not even one redeeming quality about this except for the compact is awfully cute. But it doesn't even come apart. Like, I couldn't even turn this into a clutch. Like, this does not even come out. So the eyeshadows in it, like if I swatch, this is the swatch right there. This purple, they're just nothing. I just regret buying this, and I did not have the receipt after I purchased it, so I couldn't take it back. So I just regret this one all around, and it was so disappointing because my first eyeshadow love was from Clinique. It was many years ago, probably around 10 years ago. I had a color pink from Clinique that I used like 2 full-size compacts of the eyeshadow, and then when I went back they didn't make it anymore, or we couldn't find it. And so that's kind of what started my eyeshadow obsession. So when I went back, I really did not like the eyeshadows. I guess I've been exposed to more better eyeshadows since then, or different kinds, or maybe these are just not the same quality that that one was. It just really disappointed me. So that's an eyeshadow regret for me. So now on a brighter note, the best names. So it was hard to come up with a eyeshadow palette with the best names, but I'm just going to go with Urban Decay overall, and I'll show you like in the Urban Decay Naked palette. I like the Urban Decay names because they're interesting, they're creative, and they match the eyeshadow. Like Urban Decay Mushroom, you know, it's like a mushroom color. Urban Decay Half Baked, like you can see, I mean, it matches the name. Gunmetal, I mean, that's what you would think. From the Naked 2 palette, like Pistol. Pistol is a great color, like a pistol would be. I mean, they're great names. They match what you would expect the color to be, but at the same time, it's a creative name. Asphalt is like an asphalty color. But they're not boring names either. And then like they carry the same name throughout different palettes and all. Some brands will like come up with creative names for a palette, but you know that that's the same color that you've gotten in a different palette, but it's under a different name. I love Too Faced names. I think they're very cute names, but you'll get one with like a certain theme, and it's got these really cute names that go with that theme, but you know that's the same eyeshadow that you got in a different palette and it had a different name. But I want to know when I buy one that this is the same shadow that I'm getting, just because I like that. So like with Urban Decay, everyone knows Urban Decay Sin. Everyone knows Urban Decay Half Baked. Like if I'm talking to someone and I'm talking about, oh yeah, I'm wearing Urban Decay Sidecar and I love it, but the fallout, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I love that color, but the fallout is a bit much. I mean, because you know the shadow and they know the shadow, and in every, anyway, I'm going on about this a little bit long, but in every palette, the name stays with that color. And I really like that about the Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes. So moving on, because I talked about that too long. My least used palette. And I have to say that my least used palettes, it's not the eyeshadow's fault. It's not because it's not a good eyeshadow, it's not a good palette. It's just because I reach for certain palettes more often than others. But I did come up with some for the least used palette. And it's these, I bought these summer. It's 3 different palettes from Tarte, and I bought them off of QVC, and they're great palettes and they're great colors. They're just I just haven't reached for them very much, and like I said, it's not the eyeshadow's fault. Great palettes, I've just not used it. I have so many eyeshadow palettes, I need to make it a point and a priority to rotate my palettes and to try to use them equally, but I always have a favorite that I'm leaning more towards, and I'll use one palette for the majority of a month or for a while, and then I'll find a new favorite that I can't live without. So it's not the eyeshadow's fault, but these I've not reached for very much. So the last question is most used, most loved Desert Island palette. So my most used palette has got to be over time, like my most used palette right now is different from my most used palette over time. So the one I picked for overall most used is the Urban Decay Naked palette. I reach for this one over and over and over again. It's one that, you know, I'm always in the middle of my new favorite palette, but this is one that even when I'm in the middle of my new favorite palette, I'm reaching for this one. So over time, this has probably been my most loved palette. Now my most used used palette would be the Naked Basics. With every palette that I have, like right now, my favorite palette is this palette or that palette. I always use this one with it because it has, like its name says, the basics. It's got every eyeshadow you need for a really basic look, and then you can make it more exciting with whatever eyeshadow palette you're using at the time. This color Naked 2 is perfect for me. That color is probably the reason I love this palette so much. It is just a little bit darker than my natural skin tone, and so it's perfect for a crease color. With any eyeshadow look, it is the perfect crease color. And then Walk of Shame is a perfect highlight for me. I love these other highlights too, but I go to Walk of Shame most often. And then Faint, if I'm wanting to smoke it up a little bit, Faint is great, and then Crave is great for a smoked out eyeshadow or for a liner. Either of those are great. So this is probably my most used palette. The Urban Decay Naked is my most loved palette. And so I'm going to add a question to this. It only asks those 8, but mine is like my favorite palette right this second. I guarantee this will change like within the next few weeks, but right this second I have 2 favorite palettes. One of them is from the holiday collection this year from Urban Decay, and it is the Vice 2 palette. I have been enjoying the heck out of this. It has great shadows, they're fun, and I'm loving this. The packaging is great. I love how it opens like a laptop. Great big mirror, and then all the colors, just freaking gorgeous colors. The purples, I have used those a lot, loved them. The pinks, I'm just every color in here. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're all just wonderful colors. And then the other one that I've been really obsessing over lately is from the Tarte Today's Special Value Bow and Go. It's on QVC right now. You can still get it, but it has got really great colors for really basic. You can wear them to work, but you can like make it a little more exciting for the holidays. I think this is a really awesome palette from Tarte, and I have been loving the heck out of that one. So that is my thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. I appreciate every one of my subscribers, and I get really excited every time. I say this in every video, but every time I get a subscriber, I get really excited about it. So please subscribe, and I appreciate you guys. And I will see you soon. If you want a more intense review of any of these palettes, let me know, and I would love to do it. Anyway, thank you guys. See you soon. Bye.